We're gonna be talking about Spider-Man: No Way Home in this little bonus episode. So heavy spoilers. So if you ever see Spider-Man: No Way Home, don't watch this episode or don't listen to it. But if you have, enjoy the ride and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Yo, I hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. Come a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another bowl. Let's go.
And we're back.
We are back. First of all, Mac, happy 2021. Happy New Year. Belated Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Woo!
Yeah, we did it. Our last episode was in December, and we weren't able to do our Christmas watch along because stuff gets in the way. But our last podcast episode was the jockey interview you did.
Yeah. We should apologize to all of our listeners right now. We are very sorry we did not get to bring you our Santa Girl watch along. Unfortunately, I got sick during the holidays, and other stuff came up in both of Max and I's personal lives and our personal lives, and family life and careers come first before the podcast. So, our last interview was Jockey, which I hope you all got to listen and enjoy right before the new year had started, and it's still available up now. So, and Jockey, I believe, is still playing in theaters, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. And this is a new year for us. No comment.
No. What are we doing? So on today's episode, this is going to be a little special episode. We're not doing any news, not doing any fallback and things, but we are going to be reviewing a month too late the new Spider-Man No Way Home movie with spoilers and all. So there's the disclaimer before the episode that we will be discussing spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, just skip this episode entirely.
Yeah, so we'll hear. We should talk about it firsthand of what we liked and before we go into spoiler territory.
Yeah, but there'll be spoilers in what we like to. Just saying.
Yeah, so listen for some of it. We still want our listeners, input and take, so feel free to listen. But if you really want to know spoilers, but at this point, you got to be crazy of not to seen Spider-Man.
You'd be surprised. I know a lot of people who haven't seen it yet.
Really?
Yes, and I saw it opening night, and
I got to see it opening night too. I actually saw it twice that weekend. So
I'm only seeing it once, and I'm fine with that.
Oh no, I had to see it twice. I was almost going to see it a third time, but I was like, nope, got to save the money for other features I want to review and support the other arts as much. But then I figured, you know what? It's going to come to Disney Plus and it'll be on Blu-ray. Going to pick it up then.
In 2 years.
In 2 years? No, because
it actually is. Like it's still, there's no guarantee that it's going to be on Disney Plus until like 2020.
Okay, well, so Spider-Man Far From Home is already on there, so.
Yeah, but that's different. This is brand new, and they're trying to figure out who, because it's supposed to come to Netflix first in like other countries.
Well, maybe they'll figure out something before it's time to come down to that. But otherwise, go see Spider-Man No Way Home if you haven't, though.
Yeah. So let's get started with. I'm so out of that.
Matt got his second COVID shot, so.
Stop selling false news. The hell's wrong with you?
Oh, come on.
So, no, I mean, they'll say on a third, it's the second one. But hey, who gives a shit?
I meant to say second. I said the wrong one.
Who gives a shit about that? Let's talk about Spider-Man. So, the newest Spider-Man film, well, cue the TV spot thing, whatever, I don't know.
This holiday season, cozy up by the fire.
All this for a holiday party?
Try not to slip. We don't have liability insurance.
Shop for gifts and get in the festive spirit.
He was like a flying green elf.
Well, he sounds jolly.
Spider-Man No Way Home is the #1 movie in the world.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one I'll play. But so Spider-Man No Way Home is the newest MCU movie and is the third Spider-Man movie that has come out in the Tom Holland era. So Tom Holland has managed to match the OG Tobey Maguire in the amount of movies he's had. And this one, Peter Parker as Doctor Strange to make it spell so everyone can forget Peter Parker. But in doing so, they mess up the spell and the multiverse opens, bringing all sorts of visitors from the other universes of Spider-Man into the new one, and Tom Holland has to try and stop it. So obviously, this is probably one of the most hyped up MC movies, probably in like 2-3 years, because 2019 was the last one, was the Endgame, but this was the one that was like, oh, because the ending of, well, spoilers for Far From Home, but Peter Parker's identity got revealed from Jake Gyllenhaal's character Mysterio. He's like, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, so they're kind of going off that ending, which I thought was a really cool ending, because a lot of people said that Far From Home was the best Spider-Man movie. I highly disagree, but that's my opinion.
No, Far From Home
But
is one-
so No Way Home kind of goes off that, and obviously it had a lot of hype, a lot of rumors saying, is Toby and Andrew going to be in here? You got all these Spider-Man villains from the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and yeah, obviously it did well, because it has now grossed $1.5 billion in maybe like almost less than a month since it's been out. So it has destroyed the box offices. It was the number one grossing film in 2021. It's the 8th highest grossing film of all time, and it is probably it's the highest grossing film during the pandemic era. So yeah, No Way Home. What the hell happened, Kristin? Like, how is this so big?
Spider-Man saved the pandemic.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, this was a highly anticipated watch for me as someone who grew up watching Spider-Man from like a very young age. I was really hyped up about it, and knowing how well and how much I loved Far From Home, I was really excited about it. And it was the most in theater experience I was like looking forward to for an MCU film. Because I saw Black Widow in theaters, I saw Internals in theaters, I saw Shang-Chi in theaters. Shang-Chi in theaters. I always don't know if I'm pronouncing Shang-Chi. I always don't know if I'm saying it right, because I always hear people calling it him Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi. So I'm trying to okay. So I'm always like on the fence about it. So I apologize. But this one was the most anticipated watch for myself, and in every aspect in all of the MCU films, this one has to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's right up there. I still think Iron Man's the best MCU movie, but this was not bad for second.
This was Avengers Endgame hyped up film, and it delivered, and I am very happy about that. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I thought the direction was great. I enjoyed the effects. I enjoyed how the story played out. Everything that I really enjoy about superhero films delivered in this kind of way. I think I enjoyed this more than more than the Suicide Squad, actually. If we're talking superhero films in 2021. So
considering the lineup, there was not really that much
besides the MCU films and then the DC, Suicide Squad, this one I think was the fun that I really wanted for a superhero film. Now, how do you feel about what Jon Watts did compared to his other films that he brought to the table when it came to the previous Spider-Man films?
Well, you can really tell that this one was very like, I'm going all in, and I'm going to like freaking put my, how do I put this? I'm gonna put my penis on the table, and I'm gonna show you I am the director now.
That's a little forward.
He went to Kevin Feige. He's like, look at me. I'm the director.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
So you can tell. I think Jon Watts has gone through. Actually, speaking of Jon Watts, this is actually kind of related. He is now producing the 6th Final Destination movie at HBO Max. Just a little fun fact for the episode. So it makes me a little bit excited to watch it. But he really has evolved as a filmmaker, because you can tell that, first of all, why is all these Spider-Man movies about home, like Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home? When's he gonna find his way home? What the hell?
Well, at this point, there is no way home. It's all lost. There's no such thing as home. You know how in A Wizard of Oz, Dorothy says, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home." There's no way home for Tom Holland or Peter Parker at this point.
Good God. But yeah, Homecoming was kind of like the beginning, like kind of just like how he's this optimistic director ready to make the brand new Spider-Man movie. And then Far From Home was like, you got to start to grow up, because stuff's gonna get real and everything. And then this one is like, he took aspects from both films that worked. Like the first one had like good character writing. He took that, and the second one had good, like I thought, great visual effects, and he combined those two into this new one, and it really, really did a great job with it. So I'm happy that he has like evolved into like now that Marvel and Sony can be like that can be our Spider-Man guy, because I remember there's always been the issue of like, you had Sam Raimi for the original Tobey Maguire movies, you had Mark Webb for the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and like both of them were good in their own ways, but neither of them really truly tried to neither of them, especially what you say about Sam Raimi, they didn't have that clean like record of like especially Mark Webb. I think he went like 1.5 over 2. And
what Mark Webb did, I think he went above and beyond of what. Well, no, I shouldn't say it's Mark Webb's fault. I think it was Sony's fault for going.
Yeah, it's Sony. It was
the direction.
Yeah.
So I take that back. It's apologizing to Mark Webb. It wasn't totally his fault, but it was Sony's fault for trying to pull off what John Watts wanted to do, like in this film. So this is what Sony wanted to do back in 2014, and unfortunately, they didn't deliver and what they wanted. And then this is what they wanted, but they had to sprinkle in some of that, that Disney MCU flair with the little John Watts, so they had to make their own Sunday like that. If we're gonna talk fancy,
yeah. So John Watts has a clean record, so he can be the go-to Spider-Man guy. So whenever they want to do a Spider-Man movie or anything, they can go to him, and I'm happy for him. I really am. And then seeing Tom Holland grow to Spider-Man has really, really been like kind of like watching your kid grow up. You kind of really proud of him.
Yeah, it's funny how his career has taken him, because did you ever see his first film, Cop Car?
No, I saw that. It's funny because that's also a John Watts film. So you think John Watts like kept him in mind when they're casting for Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think so, when they were like in the process of it, because I've seen it. It was just at the time when I don't remember if I saw it right when Homecoming was being released, but I did see it, and I thought, okay, I understand why, because it looks at adolescence for a little bit, and I could see why they liked him for that. And I felt like that was perfect to introduce Spider-Man, and I felt like, okay, this is somebody who really kind of knows the comics and understands young people and young high school students and young children, and he knows how to bring fun and a crazy journey to the table. So it's funny how he started from a really small independent film, and then grew his way into the Spider-Man universe. And then he also directed a film called Clown, which I forgot.
I'd never even heard of that movie.
It's a horror film, and it was produced by Eli Roth. I'm rereading his filmography, and I didn't realize it, but I forgot he did Clown, and I always thought Clown was a Eli Roth movie, but no, it's a John Watts film. So it actually kind of makes sense why he's going to be doing the Final Destination films.
I'm actually kind of happy. I love Final Destination, especially the last one. I know it's not Final Destination. Let me hype up Final Destination. I like Final Destination 5, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
So, but otherwise, yeah, going back to Spider-Man, it makes sense why they brought him on for that from the very beginning. However, it's funny how he's grown so much as a director.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy with that. And then hold on. What? I don't know yet. You don't have to. Well, I was going to go by myself. It doesn't matter.
No, I want to go.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Can you go? Because I need to.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'll cut that out.
Thank you.
I was like, well, yeah, but what were you going to say?
I don't even remember. I got so distracted. I just see the door.
We're talking about the evolution of John Watts as the director.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just end off and say he's come a long way. Sorry, folks, I got distracted because somebody opened the door, came and had a conversation with me. And whenever somebody just opens the door and I see the door handle, I just go,
or
dun,
movie,
dun,
like, oh
dun,
shit.
dun, dun, dun. Who's gonna come and talk to me when I'm in the middle of recording?
That's why you need a record sign. It'll make sense in the final edit because we're gonna cut all this out. But anyway, so Kristin, you obviously saw this. We obviously saw this in theaters. There was no pirating over here.
Absolutely none. We don't support that here.
But how was the theater experience? Because if you really think about it, this is kind of like the first big, well, this is like I'd say this is the biggest, like, more mainstream film, like, of a sold out audience I went to, because the last one I went to was Fast and Furious, but I don't count that. But this is kind of like the first, like, really, really big one that was like everyone was like they went to with their costumes and everything.
Well, from saying that, nobody dressed up in my screening for that because
Yeah,
everybody,
people.
at least on my end, was wearing sweats. I just wore my sweats that day. I went out full dressed out when I went to go see it with my friends. I went all out. But then I was like, I can't wait until that weekend. I got to go see it Thursday night. So I just wore sweats and a beanie, and I just sat in the front row, didn't care. I didn't care if it was front row. I knew I was seeing it. So, but it was great. You knew when you felt like that rush and I can't say adrenaline.
Adrenaline, yeah.
Sorry, I got tongue tied. When I think now is when we're gonna spoil it. So if you're gonna tune out now, thanks for listening. But now going back to spoilers, I think when you first felt like a huge rush was when you saw Daredevil. And I got really excited, and I was just like, oh my Lanta. Like, because at the time, it was teased that Kevin Feige was saying, oh, Daredevil's going to make an appearance, and there's talks that he could be in it. And then he's right there, just right there. He's sitting in the chair talking to Tom Holland, potentially being his lawyer. And I'm just like, what? Wait, what? So now, Marvel now, not Marvel, but now I guess you can say Disney now owns Daredevil in the form of Charlie Cox. So I got really excited to see that. And then, of course, there was like some other minor things. I shouldn't say minor, but when all those villains came out, and especially for someone like me who worships Spider-Man, and you see Electro, you see Green Goblin of Willem Dafoe, you see Otto Octavius, you see whatchamacallit, Sandman. I was almost gonna say Thomas
Sandman
Hayden.
the Lizard.
I almost said Thomas Hayden Church, but everyone was gonna go who? And then because I usually refer Sandman as Thomas Hayden Church, because I just think, as much as I enjoy Sandman, I'm just like, oh, that's Thomas Hayden Church.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, seeing all the villains come together, I was very, very excited. I was cheering. But like, especially when Otto Octavius and Willem Dafoe showed up as Green Goblin, I lost it. And especially in the costumes that they had, like, I love the costume design for this film, especially when you see when they introduce Willem Dafoe, and he's in the homeless shelter with Aunt May, and he has that signature green coat and the purple sweatshirt. I was just like, oh my gosh, this looks like it's ripped out of the comics, especially the outfit he was wearing, like an old school style Green Goblin outfit. But then I'm also reading here, Willem Dafoe was also digitally de-aged for the role.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Wondering why he looked so flawless.
I just note that he said he wasn't going to come back unless he could do his own stunts, and I respect him so much for that.
Oh yeah, you respect that. That man can do anything. I love Willem Dafoe. I could watch him in anything. Watch him in anything. He goes up there with the Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves. I will watch him in anything.
As you know, he's quite the scientist himself.
He is. So,
I will say, when they said that line, we were like, me and friends like, yeah!
Anything that was remotely close to the Tobey Maguire ones, I was just like, oh yeah, this is the juice. This is what everybody came here for. And then
actually, to go back to that Daredevil cameo, it was funny because that throughout probably the last few weeks before the movie came out, there was like that big rumor of like Kevin Feige, because they're like, apparently there's rumors that they're gonna recast Daredevil, and everyone's like, what the hell? And then Kevin Feige's like, if you see Daredevil in the future, it will be played by Charlie Cox. And then No Way Home comes out, he's just right there. He's there.
He's just sitting there because I remember seeing it. It was like almost like it had to be at least a week before the film came out. This was like really close to the release date.
Mhm.
And I must say, critics did a really good job about not spoiling it.
Well, they probably had guns pointing to their heads too when they were
Yeah,
writing
they're
it.
like, here, keep your mouth shut. You want to see more? You want to go to more Marvel press screenings? Then shut up.
You want to go home to your family? You better write this review with no spoilers. And I will say,
it was good.
dude, trying to avoid the internet for the whole day when it was a nightmare.
I think avoiding the whole weekend, it was impossible because.
Well, I saw it on that Friday. It's just that Thursday, and then it came out.
Thursday is when I saw it.
And then
Thursday night when I got out of work.
Then it came out in the UK like that Wednesday, so people were already starting to post the stuff up with grainy footage. Like, God damn.
Have you learned to adjust when not to look at the internet or at least social media? Because I've at least adjusted, and I've realized, okay, if I want to see the film, I have to go this day or at this time, and there's no other other time I can go.
I kind of, because I put it on Do Not Disturb, but I have those moments where I just scroll through idly on like social media and I go too far. It's like,
yeah, I think that happens to some people because I'm actually this brings up a really good point because for those who keep up with the world and I guess other pop culture news, one celebrity that came under fire was, I hate to say it, was Kim Kardashian, who posted a spoiler of what was the most anticipated part and highly talked about moment in the film. And I'm not going to say what it was yet because we're not ready to talk about it yet. But she posted and she got major backlash, especially from her own fans.
Yeah,
and for someone to take out their phone in the middle of the film to take a picture, I don't think is right. If you're going to take a photo, at least have it out during the trailers. But otherwise, if you're in the theater by yourself, then fine. But to have your phone out. But otherwise, if you have your phone out and you start taking pictures of the screen, I'm going to want to slap that phone out of your hands and be like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, like I hate people on their phones. So yeah, that was really a very tone deaf post.
I don't think she gets it, especially from coming in from an, I think she sees herself as, oh, I'm going to post it. That's my Kim Kardashian voice. Sorry.
Even so, it's just tone deaf. If you've been on the internet or you've seen people, you know that this was probably like one of the most anticipated movies of the year.
And especially for her fans, I think some of them aren't as totally in on
They're not nerds. They're just normies.
Yes. And they just want to see the film, and they also don't like to be spoiled. I think if it was like a TV series, then it's a different story. But to go and get a theater experience, like for like normal people and normal folks, they want to go in happy and surprised and be like, okay, this was worth the ticket. And now, and for her to post it to, I don't know how many fans, I don't even follow her. This is like, had to be like, I don't know, maybe like 90 million views. I don't know who has more out of all the Kardashian clan.
It's Khloe. Or it's Kylie.
Yeah, I knew it was Kylie, but I don't know. But I don't even know. But going back, for Kim, I think it was just stupid. She's just somebody who wants attention, unfortunately. But
she's screwing Pete Davidson. You know how much attention you need.
Yeah, that's true. And now, you know about Kanye West and Julia Fox now. Do you hear about that?
I don't want to talk about that. All right, back to Spider-Man. So yeah, it was fun. The Charlie Cox is nice. That means Netflix is now canning. So when's Daredevil gonna come back? And freaking where's my boy Luke Cage and Punisher? What the hell?
Luke Cage. Let's get that Luke Cage.
Please, like, can I get the same act? Don't recast anyone, please. Like, you obviously see that people we love the shows and we just don't want to see the actors. And like John Berthano said, he's ready to go. He's just waiting for the call, and it's just like it's so frustrating. Like, can you please hurry? Because spoiler alert for Hawkeye. Did you see what? Did you finish Hawkeye?
I did.
Spoiler alert for Hawkeye. Kingpin's back, and it's Vincent D'Onofrio. So like,
yeah, like what the heck? I was like, ooh.
So he's coming in hot. So they have to bring everyone back from the Marvel, like the TV shows, because why would you replace them?
Yeah, I just don't understand why you could, especially for Daredevil and Punisher and Luke Cage, which is still relatively new and can fit in with the stories, and especially with the state of current events of knowing the multiverse at this point, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, that they said that the TV shows are canon. It's not even the multiverse, they're just canon.
Yeah, so there's a lot of possibilities, and I think now is the time we should talk about the moment that everyone has waited for in the film.
The ending.
The absolute ending that 1,000% delivers and is one of the best endings, I think, that tops this entire year for 2021, I should say.
When I left the theater.
Yeah, when I left the theater.
At 3 but no, yeah. So if you already don't, this is where we're getting into the major spoilers. So if you made it to this point, congratulations, probably seen the movie. But yeah, Toby and Andrew show up. That's like the big spoiler.
It was no spoiler to me because
You kind of already knew.
Photos got leaked of Toby being on set.
I
And
didn't see
then
any photos, so I was happy. I was lucky enough.
it wasn't like leaked photos, but it was like Toby on the set, like, you know, going to like, you know, the backlot studio or whatever, you know, it's called. And then, you know, Andrew Garfield, much as I love the man was lying through his teeth. You know, you could tell.
He cannot. He is a terrible, terrible liar. He's like, I enjoy lying. I'm like, you had no one fool. I knew you were lying this whole time.
The minute he said that, I was like, dude, don't even start. Don't even start. You're going to be there. I will see you in the theater with Toby and Tom. I will see you there. So stop. And then, you know, he's just probably as bad as Tom Holland revealing secrets. So he was trying his best.
Well, I kind of figured when they're like, Tom Holland said they're all in the group chat. I was like, okay, yeah, that means, yeah.
No, to be all in a group chat, it's like.
That means you met each other recently to get that. Because there's no way you had that like since 2017.
I must also talk about this. There's this whole big thing going around now because, you know, Andrew Garfield is the current trending man at the moment. He talked about seeing the film with Toby opening weekend, and he went.
They stuck into a theater and no one knew they were in there.
Which is just so iconic.
Funny.
It's iconic. It's funny. And it's just like, if you sat next to them and you don't even know it, you are a legend in my book.
No, you're just an idiot. If you turn like, holy crap, it's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
The person next to them goes, oh, that's so cool, man. Like, you know, you poke to the neighbor next to you, be like, oh, that's so cool. And you go, wait, why are you there? Why are you there?
Like, shh. I feel like someone did recognize them, but they wanted to be respectful and they just kept watching it.
It depends on the person, maybe. But I can actually talk about this now. Should I save it for the end? It's my story time with Andrew Garfield.
You met Andrew Garfield?
Should we talk more about the ending first, or should we go into my story time?
All right, we'll wait till the end. But yeah, so how Toby and Andrew are brought into the movie is that so throughout the film, when they have all the villains, Doctor Strange's like, we gotta send them back to their universes because, you know, they die, that's their fate. But Tom Holland, he goes, well, what if we can cure them and change their fate? So he puts Doctor Strange. They had that crazy battle sequence from the trailer, which I think was actually really, really mind-bending and trippy. And he traps Doctor Strange and gives Ned like the ring, a ring to make the portals. So then that all happens, and then events later, and then it's like, oh, Green Goblin's evil. We're just kind of going through the Spark Notes version. And then MJ and Ned are like, man, we got to find Peter. So Ned could use the ring. So they open a portal, and it opens to a long, dark alleyway, and you see red, and you're thinking, that's not Peter. And they're like, Peter. And as you run closer, you see like, oh, we know it at it. And it was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, and it was Andrew Garfield.
And everybody screamed, including me. I think I was the one who screamed the most in that theater.
I just said wrong Spider-Man. I was like, whatever. I just said wrong one.
I screamed like I was at the Harry Styles concert all over again.
But yeah, so everyone did go crazy. And I was like, that kind of blew me away because I was thinking like, I never thought Andrew Garfield was the worst Spider-Man because like, I think he was the best like Spider-Man. Because I think Toby's the best Peter, Andrew's the best Spider-Man, and then Tom is a combination of the two.
That's a good way to see it.
Because like in the Amazing Spider-Man, he was more quippy, and everything. So he's kind of like the younger years of like Spider-Man, while Tobey was like the more mature and like, you know, he kind of like had a lot of the stuff going on. And Tom's like, he's trying to find his way. And seeing Andrew is like, you know, I think Andrew and Tobey both got their redemption in this movie.
Yeah. I really liked seeing at least Andrew come first, because at least he was the second one to come out of, you know, out of all the Spider-Man films. It was him, then, you know, the grandiose of Tobey. And this has to be, I believe it's one of Tobey's first acting roles to return since, I believe, Pawn Sacrifice.
No, he did a movie, Babylon.
Was it? That was the TV. I think that was the TV show.
No, it was a movie.
Was it? Okay, I'm gonna double check. Oh wait, no, it was The Boss Baby.
Oh,
Babylon is coming out.
The Oscar-winning movie Boss Baby.
No, it's Academy Award nominated Boss Baby.
I don't know whether that's a cruel joke or not, but yeah, Andrew came through, and then we're like, oh, me and my friends are like, uh-oh, does that mean? And then he's like, find Peter Parker. It's like, we keep opening portals, we can find the right Peter. So he's like, find Peter Parker, and then you see it, the OG himself steps out, and the theater, when I say the theater went, I thought it was at a wrestling show. The theater went crazy when Tobey went on screen.
It was a beautiful moment, and I will never forget it. And I just remember screaming the first time, and then when I took my friends to see it, and my boyfriend was just looking at me, and then me and my friends were just holding each other like, oh my God, it's coming, and then everybody screamed, and I was ready to jump out of my seat again. Like, it just felt like I was going to see Harry Styles. It was no other different day.
But yeah, so it was cool. So they go to try to find Peter because another spoiler, Aunt May dies.
I'm sorry?
Aunt May dies.
I thought you said our man dies. I was like, what man?
No. Aunt May, yeah.
Aunt May dies.
When they were trying to cure the villains, Willem Dafoe was like, I was evil the whole time. I didn't want you to cure me. It's my destiny. And he freaking stabbed Aunt May with the glider. And because she was stumbling, when she got back up, I'm like, she's kind of stumbling and like starting to hurt. I'm like, is she hurt? And she collapsed, like, oh damn. So
yeah. That part I was crying at, and I was just like,
I didn't cry.
God damn. It's like, God dang it, Aunt May.
So
can nobody stay alive?
This Spider-Man has lost both Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then Peter's
really on his own right now.
And then when she died, she dropped the famous, with great power comes great responsibility. And everyone was like, yeah.
And I was like, yep.
She's gonna die.
Snaps, you gotta say the right line. Yep, you did it. And going up to that part where we see all the three Spider-Mans, it was great because it was just enough time where they build off of each other's chemistry. And what made them all relatable was how just their characters were. They were just minorly tweaked. And I love the fact that, the fact that when Tobey says, oh, I was bit by a radioactive spider, and then Andrew goes, oh, I have to build mine.
Oh, no, because they were talking about the web shooters.
I should have made that clear.
And Tobey just shot one out of the tree. He's like, you can't do that. He's like, how's that even possible? And they were just so enamored because, like, that was always the thing when, like, Tobey had the organic web shooters coming from his wrist. And that's what I grew up with. Then I watched The Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, what's this web shooter stuff? Like, it's so dumb, but I kind of get it now. Because that is kind of dumb to have it come out your wrist. But that's what made it funnier.
That part was really funny. I love the part that they, I love also the fact that they each talked about, their significant others, and, poor Andrew just standing there. He's like, yeah, I lost my Gwen. And then I just felt, a part of me now just felt like hearing, hello, darkness, my old friend.
I will definitely say they really redeemed Andrew Garfield with this one.
They did, and I think they knew that.
Even there's a scene where it's like, I'm so lame, I didn't find it. It's like, you're not lame, you're amazing. And everyone's like, yeah! It's like, okay.
Yeah, and I can forgive him for that now, for that poorly done wrong death.
Now everyone wants the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and the Spider-Man 4.
I still want my Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man 2 cut with Shailene Woodley.
Oh, God.
You know how because if you go back and watch interviews, she talks about her cut from the film. And she says, "Oh, there was too many other characters to introduce. Look how many other characters were introduced." And,
well, remember the rumor? I'm surprised Kristen Dunst and all of them didn't show up either, because that was the rumor too.
Yeah, you at least would have acknowledged, like, maybe like her head to pop up, be like, "All right, hun, I'll see you later for dinner," or something like that. But it wasn't like that. But I think but what they were going for, just for the 3 Spider-Man alone, it just fits it enough. But so I could see why she wasn't included. I think it would have been nice for her to be included, but for like how the scene played out, or I should say scenes played out, everything was done to justice, I believe, personally speaking.
So, to the villains, who do you think was the best villain? My favorite villain had to be Doc Ock. I know everyone was like Green Goblin, but I like Doc Ock.
That's a good coin toss-up for me. Like, because I've been going back and forth. Oh, I'm like, oh, it's got to be Doc Ock. But because now I have a soft spot for Doc Ock, because now he basically is now repaired, and, he's happy again. And, for Willem Dafoe, he's got his case was focusing on mental health. And I liked what they did with his character. Mm-hmm. And I thought those two were great. I mean, honorable mention is Jamie Foxx, I think.
Oh, yeah, they redeemed Electro, thank God.
Especially the way he really looked. I mean,
oh, yeah, I like this. This is better than
blue. To, a gold tech suit with lightning coming out. It was amazing. I thought it was like a work of art, honestly, the way how he looked. So everything was great. I must ask, do you think that the film was missing certain villains?
Yeah, especially at the ending when you see the portals being opened and you see like the outlines of like Rhino and Kraven. And like, remember that this was originally going to be a Kraven movie?
Yes.
So seeing all that, I feel like, yeah, because they had the lizard, but they were kind of missing them.
I mean, if they would have gotten rid of the lizard and maybe put in like
Dan DeHaan as the Green Goblin,
I would have lost my mind. And I really want to ask one day, if I can ask Dan DeHaan, I would be like, how did you feel for not being part of one of the biggest superhero films? And I feel like he would be devastated.
I did cry, remembering that he was in a good movie called Chronicle, and then everything else sucks.
I know. I was really disappointed about that Leslie story. And, yeah. Dan DeHaan, come back. We miss you.
Yeah, they made Chronicle for free.
I still love him in 000, which you all should check out, but yeah, I miss him in good projects, unfortunately.
But yeah, so do you want to talk about the ending? That was like, oh, what happens now?
Yeah, we need to definitely talk about that.
So the ending of Spider-Man is that once they team up, and when I say that, why the hell is Statue of Liberty getting a Captain America shield?
Why not?
Okay, that's good enough. But
I liked it. Let her work it. I love it.
That shot of all the Spider-Men hitting their signature poses, that was just like, that is the perfect screensaver. I want that as a poster so bad.
It's chef's kiss. Like, that's what I love. I do that nowadays. If it's a film worthy that deserves a chef's kiss, like Bon Appetit, then I know it's good. Like, that's perfect for me. I was just like, oh, this is something savory. I can enjoy this for the rest of my life.
But they cured all the villains and everything. I got scared because Toby got stabbed. He's like, I'm fine. I was like, there you go. Nice job, Toby.
Yeah, but I just want them all to come back. Just re-team up. Just do it again.
But so the portals are opening. Doctor Strange is like, I can't hold these portals because all these, like, we're gonna have to close it. And then they're all coming for like Peter Parker. And then Tom Holland says, well, what if people don't know who Peter Parker is? He says, what? So what if everyone forgets? Like, so you all have I won't know who you are. MJ and Ned won't know who you are. He's like, it's fine. So Doctor Strange cast a spell, and no one knows who Peter Parker is.
So he has a long journey ahead of him. So, and I think, we're going to see some characters return. I don't think Ned will return for future projects. I believe, if anything, Zendaya will return. MJ will return. But Happy Hogan will return, I believe.
I hope
And
so.
because I love that relationship he has got with Peter. I think it's so cute. It's really comical. But yeah, I think it's pretty much the end. You could tell for some characters, even though I want more J.K. Simmons in it, more
Oh my
J.
gosh, yes, that was
Jameson.
awesome. That was awesome.
That's so awesome. I really want more of that. And I think you could tell, but who knows what they're gonna bring back for the next few projects. And I like the fact
apparently they're doing 3 more movies.
Yep, they're in the development stages or
So here's the thing. What do you think they could do after this? Like, is there anything else that like this monumental can happen like with Spider-Man?
at this point I don't even know what they could do. My jaw was basically dropped to the floor. Like I don't even know what you could do next.
Okay. So instead of that, what do you want them to do?
I would like them. I don't think they're ready. It's so hard to top it because what John Watts did was so epic and what they brought to the table. I think what they're going to do is, this is really hard for me. I don't even know.
Think about all the properties they now own. Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, Punisher. So would you finally have that? Well, now with the news with Deadpool 3 now officially going to be rated R.
I don't think they'll do something with that because they want the kids to see Spider-Man, and I don't think that's an idea for them to do. They'll mention Deadpool in Spider-Man, but or they'll mention. They'll mention Deadpool 3 will mention Spider-Man, but they won't have him totally be in it.
Okay, so do you think there's a possibility he could team up with Blade?
I do think. I don't think, if anything, he'll team up with Blade.
Or
I
is
do
it
think Daredevil might be one thing. I think at this point he might team up with. He might try to track down Strange, but he won't be in. He won't be in that project. He won't be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
I just thought of it. I know what they're doing. Miles Morales. This is the time to introduce them.
Okay, I could see. Okay.
Jamie Foxx says there's got to be a Black Spider-Man out there, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" And
why not? It'd be great.
Back in 2014, 2015, Marvel announced that Miles Morales was going to be the main 616 Spider-Man in the comics. Like he's no more Peter Parker, it's him. So that gave him time to grow, so people who read the comics can know who he is. So then, by the time we had Into the Spider-Verse, everyone knew who Miles Morales is, or they were just learning about him and they like loving him. I think Miles Morales is one of the most popular Marvel characters of the last decade, and you already had the video game, the Miles Morales, and everything, and now you have the second Ant-Man movie coming in. So I think now is the time where this next trilogy will probably be like the end of an era for Peter Parker, big screen, and they're probably going to try to shift. They're probably going to start looking for who can be Miles Morales in the big screen. But I think they've waited 7 years, 8 years to get him on the screen. It's just a matter of fact. It's just a matter of who do you think could play Miles Morales?
That's a good idea. I can kind of see that in the ways of that.
Yeah, because it's like Tom Holland says he doesn't see himself doing this forever, and I think we've heard the Peter Parker story for almost 20 years now. Because the first Spider-Man is going to be 20 years old, and I think it's time to maybe, because if they're going to do they're going to do the Ironheart series and all that, they're really going to start putting in more of the comic book characters.
And if anything, if they really still want Tom Holland as the focus of Spider-Man, he'll just be a supporting character. I don't see it if that's the case. Then he'll just be a secondary character. I don't see him as the forefront for anything if that's the case. So
they're probably going to do, but
they'll finish out these 3 projects, the next 3 movies, and then that's when we'll call it, probably, if anything. But
here's another thing is that this actually releases Spider-Man. So Morbius, they got pushed back to April 1st, right?
Wait. Before you shout out Morbius, we should talk about that Carnage scene, Venom Carnage moment. No. Because remember, you've seen.
It was a waste of time.
That was a waste. My boyfriend and I were like, I remember when we saw Venom, I was like, honey, he's gonna be No Way Home, and he's like, oh, okay, because he's just like my boyfriend. I just talked to my boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be right there. He'll be in there with the Sinister. It's gonna be like a whole Sinister Six, and he goes, okay. So then we show up, and I'm like, he's like sitting there waiting for Venom because my boyfriend really enjoyed Venom. Because he refers to Venom as a stupid, fun character.
It kind of is.
So he was like waiting for Venom, and then all of a sudden, you know, he shows up the last like mid credit. He's like, oh, there he is.
It was pretty much the bartender. It was just the bartender saying like, he's like, so there was this purple guy that snapped people into the. He's like, yeah. He's like, Venom was like, oh, interesting. He's like, I think we should probably go meet Peter Parker, and then he gets right back to reality. And all that scene was to show a piece of the symbiote is now into the MCU timeline and not in Sony's timeline. That's all that scene was.
That was it, and that could have been really awesome. Like if Venom showed up, that could have redeemed him at least as a character. But then again, you know, people saw Venom in October. It wasn't just enough time yet to introduce him. So who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever.
I guess there's a symbiote running around, so that could be another plot line in one of the movies. There's a symbiote now.
Imagine that, another Venom running around.
But yeah. So back to Morbius is that since Morbius got pushed back. There's now rumors, instead of it being like they're using the cover as the COVID, like the Omicron uptick, but there's now rumors saying that they may have pushed back and maybe add Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. That's like the rumor that's going around, but I don't believe it.
I don't believe it, but I would have loved it. But there's no time to shoot that in time. No, it won't happen. But I would love, if anything, I would love to see Andrew Garfield. Even in fact, bring them all back again. It's great. I just love it. I just love it. Just bring it back.
But I think I kind of talked about everything we need to talk about it. What was your final rating? Like, what is your final like?
Oh, it's an A+. I loved it. One of the top, it's in my top 5 movies of the year.
It was my number 2. I gave it 8.9 out of 10.
I gave. I won't spoil it, but when we talk about our top 10 films of the year, but it's in my top 5. I will reveal that.
I will say, once you get past like the hype of it, like kind of like the whole like big deal, because it's like, man, this is the first time we actually had generations crossing over for a superhero movie, because we'll see how the Flash does it this year. Am I right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that Flash film. Yeah.
But I feel like once you get past it, it's a fun movie. Like, would I see myself in theaters seeing it again? Maybe, maybe not, because I already kind of know what happens. It's kind of like, yeah, but it'll be kind of cool. But I think I would just wait to get it on like Blu-ray. But I will say, like, this is something you have to see in theaters. Like,
1,000%. If you are first of all, if you love nostalgia and you grew up in the early 2000s, then this is the film for you. If you enjoy superhero films, this is for you. If you enjoy going to movies for big skeptics, theatrical experience, then this is for you. Even for like Oscar-worthy films, this is like, if you enjoy going to the movies just to have fun, then this is, go and watch it. You're gonna enjoy it. And they're now pushing this film for Best Picture, which is insane.
They didn't qualify for a BAFTA.
No, it didn't. Didn't make the cut, but they're hyping it up for other, awards-worthy contenders. But I don't see it nominated for Best Picture or Actor or anything like that. I see it all nominated for a technical standpoint. But we'll worry about that when it comes to Oscar, when the Oscar nominations are revealed later, because we will do an Oscar episode. So don't worry, folks. We got you covered with that one. But before we wrap up, should I say
tell your Andrew Garfield story.
Okay, so once upon a time, I went to a movie premiere, and it was for an Andrew Garfield film. I don't really want to say what it quite is, because I don't know if I can say, but it did have Andy Serkis as the director. I will reveal that. You can figure out the film. But I did go to the premiere, and I went to the after party. And at the after party, Andrew Garfield was there, and I was with a couple of other girls I was with, and we were all nervous to talk to Andrew because he's actually really handsome in person. And I was just like, oh my God, why is he there? Why am I so starstruck? Like, I was already starstruck to talk to Andy Serkis. But then to go see Andrew Garfield like right there in front of me, I was just like, oh my God, I'm like sipping wine, like enjoying my night. And I was just like, oh my God, before I leave, I have to get a picture with Andrew. Otherwise, I would have been crushed. My phone is like just about to die. And me and the other girls are like, hey, Andrew, we really liked your film. We were with so-and-so. And he goes, oh, okay. And we go, we hate to say this, but can we get a picture with it? He goes, yeah, really quick though. Because he was just leaving at the time. And we were like, okay. So we each take a picture. But at the time, my phone was dying. So the picture quality is really, really bad.
Oh, no.
So it looks so blurry, but I was so happy. He was so nice. He put his arm around my shoulder, and I was just like, oh my God, Andrew Garfield's touching me. But he was really nice. And then he left for the night to go do, I guess, other press stuff or go to bed because it was a late night. So, but he was nice. He's very nice, down to earth. So I still have the photo to this day, but it was one night I will never forget. So Andrew Garfield has a nice spot in my heart.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to go back. You know, I doubt he remembers any of the people I was with.
Probably not.
But it was great because Andy Serkis knew who I was at that point.
What?
Because I met him. Okay, should I talk about this too?
Might as well.
Okay, so at the time, I went to the year this film was released, this Andy Serkis film. The last Planet of the Apes film was released, and I got tickets to a taping of Good Morning America.
Mm-hmm.
And he did an interview on GMA. I was going to be in a segment with my sister. We were like one of the like possible chosen contestants. So we were moving, and I was talking to my mom and my sister saying how much I like love Andy Serkis. And my sister and my mom's like, oh my God, he's right there. Just stand up and say hi. And I said hi, and I talked to him for like at least 2 minutes before, like this was just like in the middle, right before commercial ended. He like literally stopped like security just to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to the premiere and at the after party, I said, hey, I met you on GMA and I made this comment. And he goes, oh my God, I remember you.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I was dead. My brain died. I was just like, all right, good night, folks. Good night, folks.
Jesus Christ.
Off to the moon. Andy Serkis remembered who I was because it was like in the span of like 2 months when I last met him. So during that time. So I was just like really happy. So those were my stories of I met Andrew Garfield and Andy Serkis. I have lots of stories, Mac.
But
you know some of them, but
yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for a special Spider-Man episode. Just like not really a podcast episode, just us talking about this new movie because.
Well, you could say it's a podcast episode. This was just us rambling. It's like a podcast. This is a podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Just minus the news and the box office stuff. But,
our usual format.
Yeah, but next episode, which will be our regular format, we're going to be going over our top 10 best movies of the year. I already put my list out in my list out and my video out of it. So if you want to check it out and see mine, you can get spoiled ahead. Or if you want to wait to see what Kristin's are, wait till next episode. And then the episode after that, we will be discussing the new Scream movie, which I will be seeing on Saturday at Regal Cinemas.
I'm seeing it on Thursday night for showing. So I'm ready for it.
I can't do that because I got work, so screw you.
Oh, I live close to a theater, and I get out of work at a nice, reasonable hour, so I'm going to just head out with my sister, and we're going to
go. But anyway, thank you all for listening.
Give us some suggestions on what films you want us to see in 2022.
Yeah, especially if that's not the Batman, because we're going to see that anyway. The hell are you talking about? Nebulization. But
maybe we'll see Jackass. I feel like that's a movie you wanted to talk about for a while.
Oh, first we're talking about Uncharted.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple films.
Yep. But until next time, I have been Mac.
Oh wait, no, wait, don't.
Holy crap! Can I do the outro?
No, you have to talk about our Patreon. Remember? Don't.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming for audiences. Get them hyped, man.
Oh yeah. So we have the MK Productions has a Patreon page, and it is just $1 a month. And if you don't know what Patreon is just a way to help us support because stuff is a little expensive. It's nice to have a little rainy day fun. So The perks, I can give you all the perks real quick on my Patreon app. And to shout out to our Patreons, we have Robert Nakayama, aka Big Nack 007, and we got Shane Kanto, aka The Wasteland Reviewer, and Audrey Hayes, also known as Desi's One Diva, also known as my mom. But this is our new. We have 3 patrons as of this month, and I'm really proud of that. And if you donate to our Patreon, it's $1 a month, like we said. If you donate to it, you get these perks: fan requests, early access to promo codes and news, because we're trying to get the merchandise store back up, podcast requests, live Q&As, and a Patreon shout out like we just did. So there'll be a link in the bio, link on our Instagram page, their Patreon page, and yeah, why don't you all patrons? Come on, it's fun. It's really fun here. It's just $1 a month.
You know, it's not crazy, but this will go towards anything that we think should be worthy to improve the podcast, whether that might be in a piece of audio equipment. It could be a new way to record the show. It could be getting access to stuff that we may not have. So anything helps, and we do appreciate you. So even if you can't donate, we still love you. For Mac and I have been doing this for almost a year and a half now, since I joined the show. So this show means the world to us, even when sometimes we don't always get to do or fulfill, how do I put it? Like, I guess maybe some expectations, for it, but we do deliver on at least deliver you guys a great show, and we want to make all of our viewers happy in the best way we can. But just listening helps a lot. Yeah. So that's what matters to us. And if you do donate $1, that's fantastic. But if not, we still appreciate you regardless.
$1 a month, you know, if you have $1 and $1, you can even donate for 1 month, and that'll be cool with us. But just thank you all for listening anyway. So it's been good. So link in the bio for the Patreon. I'll probably have a message in the
We still love you all. We love all you listeners.
But until next time, I have been Mac, this has been Kristin, and you've been listening to the MK Productions podcast. Have a good day and night wherever you are.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Later.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.